All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another League of Legends discussion video. So I haven't done these in a while, or maybe ever, I don't remember. And usually I would edit something like this, but I'm pretty lazy. So I tried to make a creative way to show and tell my point through visual aids. So who are we going to be talking about today? As you might be able to tell from the screen in front of me, it's Briar. Now, as you might have noticed from some of the other posts on my channel with my reaction on Briar and stuff, I was very excited for this champion, and I really like her. In terms of lore, I think she's really cool. In terms of personality, I think she's really cool. And in terms of gameplay, I thought she was really cool. Now, the key difference there that I said, if you can notice from the others, was I thought this thing. So, why are we here today? Why am I making this video? I'm making this video basically to call out Riot and be like, Riot, why are you fucking us yet again? Now, I don't know if it's to me personally. I don't know if I'm just being attacked. But as an ADC player, I feel like I'm always getting the shit end of the stick with Riot. I honestly feel like most players right now, they're just kind of getting like mediocre stuff from Riot Games. And Riot Games has been, recently at least from what I've been saying in my other videos, on a downward trend as time has gone on. Recently, of course. Now, I feel like this is all going to change and we're going to stop getting shit shoveled on us maybe when they revert the mythic items, but with Riot's track history recently, I'm a little scared they might even fuck that up. But the topic of today's video is Briar. So, I've gone to play Briar, and I'm going to be honest, I was very excited for her. I still like her, but it was very underwhelming and very disappointing. And I will be very honest, this does not get my penis very hard at all, despite this picture in front of us. So, a little context about me. Sorry, not me, Briar. Briar right now is sitting at about a 36% win rate, and she's in tier D. So who am I to really go over her? Well, I'm Platinum 3 in ranked and solo duo, flex and solo. I'm not the best player by any means, but I'll be honest, this is an off season for me. Basically every season for a couple years has been an off season for me. And I've played a little bit of Briar, and this is my experience with Briar. Briar's right here, and I basically am sitting at a 33% win rate. I played about 3 games with her, but I've also seen games where she's played, and like I said, I've got a little bit of an idea for her, and it doesn't take long to really realize what her main issues are, which I'm going to go over at the end. But before we do that, let's watch these videos of Briar. So, the first video we're going to see is the Briar incident by RIOT, which is a really cool YouTuber. He does a lot of news, and I like him. And he also has his cat in the corner.
So, Briar just got released today, and pretty hype champion release. The design is very human, and she just all around seems like a nice release. Until you dig into it some more. Briar is currently sitting at a 29% win rate, and...
So, this is 29%, and I believe this is before the hotfix. So she did get hotfixed, but she is sitting at one of the lowest win rates ever, or she was. And I think she still is. Let's take a look at u.gg. Oh, would you look at that? She's the worst ranked jungler in the game. Now, why would this be? Let's take a look.
Generally, you shouldn't judge champions off their first day win rates, but this is one of the lowest win rates we've ever seen on a champion release. For basic...
Now, granted, this was on the first day, and the typical trend as time goes on is the champion win rate is going to go up. Usually, if they're OP, it's going to stay up and then maybe go down or go up a little bit more. I honestly think the trend is when a champion comes out, depending on where they are, if they're OP or not, decides their starting win rate, and then it pretty much goes up from there as people learn the champion more and get better with it. Now, there's some champions where it goes drastically up because they're very niche, you need to learn them, they're different. Briar, I think, is one of those cases, but the fact that her starting win rate was at 29 before the hotfix, and after the hotfix, it's been a couple days now, she's still the worst jungler in the game. I've played her, and I feel like I can talk about her problems, but God, is she so underwhelming. And again, I feel like this is a targeted attack against me, because I was so excited for this champion, because this champion had a bleed mechanic, and she was kind of like a mix of Yi, and I would say... I forgot who else, but she's basically like Yi, kind of mixed in with Rammus because she taunts herself. But it was a very cool thing. I was very excited for it. And again, I'm disappointed now because what I wanted was basically shown. The same thing with Neferi. Neferi I thought would play in a different way. She kind of doesn't really care about the summon. She has little dogs, and you kind of just have to play her like an assassin. It's not really about the summons. But anyway, that's Neferi. So Briar, I'm very, very upset about. Now, we don't need to watch the rest of this video. Actually, we'll play a little bit more of it.
As long as I can remember. Plus, the sample size of 9,000 games isn't actually small by any means. The only thing that comes close to this is Release Syndra, which had around a 27% win rate. With there being...
Now, Release Syndra, I don't know how she was. She's vastly different from how she is today because they added a whole bunch of bullshit in her kit. But regardless, this has been one of the worst releases in a while. Now again, everything recently, be it from the ultimate that's really a legendary, or from the next legendary that reused assets from another legendary with Soraka, things are just going downhill with the skins, with the gameplay, with everything. Again, the one chance I think they have to redeem themselves is when they remove the mythic system, but who knows. Now, this is where online people have noticed the same thing too. So this is where we're going to go over some memes online, and then I'm going to really get into the nitty-gritty about Briar. So let's take a look here.
Has you or someone close to you been feeding on this champion?
Yes, I have.
Don't worry, we just hotfix buffed her. She has more HP and a little more damage reduction and a lower cooldown on E.
Okay. I'm going to keep this on the screen here, but just know the person who made this, I love this guy. His name is RIOT August. He's the person who made Briar. He made other champions as well, but he made Briar. He's on, he's on the league team. He's on RIOT. He's really funny, but I'll just give you guys a spoiler alert. This is not fucking enough. So let's go to the next video here. This is going to showcase a little bit of an example, because again, I didn't want to edit. I'm lazy and I don't have time. So this is going to showcase an example of really how good Briar is. Now, we don't know the scores. We don't know the context, but this is pretty much how it's going to go on Briar. Now, let's take a look at this.
Here we
so
go,
Briar
baby.
ults in on a Scion, right? She's beating Scion's ass. She's actually winning pretty fucking hard too, right?
Okay.
But wait a minute. What's
Okay.
going on here? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
He's running towards him.
Okay.
She's going
All
crazy. She got her blood blades out. She's still going. She's still going. All right, she stunned him. Scion couldn't even get the knock up. And she died anyway. Granted, Brand was there, but still. Briar is just... oh my god. Okay. Now that we saw the things, let's get into the thick of it, right? So they buffed her HP and they buffed her E. I think these buffs literally do nothing. Do you know what the main issue with Briar is? I compared her to Yi before, and I'm sticking with my guns here. Briar is a way worse Yi. If you want to play Briar and you like Briar, obviously there's some subtle differences here. Briar is way more unique in a way. But if you want to actually win, you're going to play Yi. Yi and Briar are basically two sides of the same coin. However, what is Briar's sort of niche? He's basically going to stick on you. She gets nearly identical stats to Yi, not from her ult per se, although the ult adds on to it, but also from her W. She gains pretty much the same, if not more, bonus attack speed and move speed from her abilities. It's basically like she's Yi ulting. Now, she's going to Yi ult at you. You have very little control over this. You could jump on people. You could choose who to jump on, and you can end it. But the problem is, if Briar isn't in her Blood Frenzy mode, if she's not in her Yi ultimate, which is on an ability, she's basically a non-champion. Your E is not really going to be used other than canceling your W, so you can't really rely on it in a fight too well. Your W basically makes you a champion, and your Q is obviously for engage, so all of your kit is centered around the W, which is the Blood Frenzy, which is the self-taunt. Now, the issue is, once you're in it, yeah, you have some AoE, but your enemies typically aren't going to be clumped up that much on top of each other to where it's going to matter for too long, if at all. It's mostly just for the jungle wave clear, right? Or for lane, if you're going to go crazy and do her in lane, which is what I did, by the way. It's not good. But this is where the main part of her kit that pretty much kind of saves her is her W bite. So once you Blood Frenzy and then you have the W again, you can bite down, which is basically a Warwick Q. If I had to describe her perfectly, and that was the champion I was forgetting, it was Warwick and Yi. She's a mix between Warwick and Yi, but worse than both of them. If you don't have your E up, you're basically asking for death. Because even, let's just say you go in and you kill your target. After that, you're going to go after someone random, who knows if it's going to be the right person or not, and the enemy can just burst you down. And the damage reduction on the E helps. It's kind of similar to Yi's W, but it doesn't help enough. This is where Once you E, you're a non-champion. You don't do anything. You have to wait for your W. And when you're in W, the only threat you really have, aside from just beating them senseless with your autos, which as a melee kind of sucks, is the W heals you. It's a Warwick Q, but it's only up every like 8 seconds. So this is where one thing I would recommend, right? Instead of buffing her health, instead of buffing her stupid E, they need to buff her W's bite cooldown. Now, this might make her a little strong, but I say a little strong as if she's not the weakest jungler in the game right now. So I think to make it fair, if Riot is scared about overbuffing her, which I'm going to get into a little bit, I think they could put it on her ult. I think when she's ulting, because she already gains armor and MR, which is good. She needs it when she's ulting. That's fine. She gains more move speed. I forgot if she gets more attack speed, but it doesn't matter. She has enough. This is where she also gains lifesteal on her ultimate. The lifesteal basically is negligible and doesn't matter. The fact that she doesn't have health regen and gets it from her passive bleed, it's alright, but you're really not going to notice it in combat, and it's not going to make too big of a difference unless maybe you have Ocean Soul. Maybe at that point it'll help, but aside from that, it really is underwhelming. All of Briar is honestly just underwhelming. There's niche situations in one-on-ones where you're going to have fun with her, sure, but in actual team-fighting scenarios, the enemy's just going to turn and kill you. You don't get enough armor and MR to be a tank. Now, maybe I've built her wrong. I've kind of building her at full damage. As time goes on, I definitely think people will get better with her, but again, from the... oh, shit. From the... oh, my God. Don't look at that! From the win rate here of 36%, I really don't think it's going to get that high. I think she's going to have to get hard buffed, and she probably will. And this goes more into game design now. This is where other games, other MOBAs, like Smite, do it as a great, great job. Well, you know, great depending on your perspective, but in my opinion, great job. What Smite game does is they will release a champion, and they would rather have that champion be overwhelming, be good, because it's new, it's exciting. They'd rather have it be OP and nerf it later than rather it come out weak like a wet fucking fart, which is kind of what Briar came out as. And it's so sad too, because as Ryusku said, everything else with Briar is pretty much generally accepted. Her lore, people like it. Her looks, people love it. I mean, again, you know, look at this here. This is like a forbidden image right here. But everything else, you know, her actual gameplay, the thing I would say matters the most, is kind of just like it's stupid. So again, this is where I think they should just make the W way lower cooldown for the bite. Make it so you have to kill her very quickly, and if you fight in a sustained fight with her, you're fucked, right? But they're probably not going to do that. But I think that's kind of what needs to be done. In general, though, I'm a little fucking sad. I'm a little sad that this is the state of Briar. Again, something I was looking forward to, similar to Neferi, basically shit on and different from what I got, or what I wanted. What I got was not what I wanted. Hopefully in the future they buff her up, but I just made this video to kind of complain a little bit and kind of go over it. Riot needs to really, like, release these things fucking OP. And it's sad, too, because Riot August released, like, some stuff he was showing about Briar, about, when he was making her. She used to have an ult where on a cooldown, when you died, instead of dying, you explode, and then you res, like, 2 seconds after, literally like Aatrox. And, your active was, as long as the cooldown's up and you can res, you can blow yourself up. You could deal like 1,000,000 true damage to yourself, blow up, and deal like a nuke damage to your enemy. Like, bruh, it's crazy. But instead, this is what we got. So, it's weird. I don't know if they're going to build her like semi-tanky, if that's going to help. I really don't know what they're going to do for the future. I will be shocked if they don't buff her. And this is a great segue, and we're going to find out in my patch note reviews, which I do live at Twitch TV/Tecnics channel sometimes. But I post to my YouTube, which is probably where you're watching this. I hope. But anyway, like I said, this is all a big ad for my Twitch channel. Go over there, Twitch TV/Tecnics channel. Come watch me, come talk with me, come discuss Briar's feat. But aside from that, yeah, I think they just honestly need to buff the W. Maybe add some more stuff to the ult, but I think if they buff the W, everything else is honestly okay. Maybe also buff the passive, because I was expecting Darius levels of bleed, because she's a vampire champion. Her only bleed thing is her passive, and it doesn't even really feel that good. I have gotten kills with it, but the enemies were one hit anyway, where in actual combat, the bleed, I feel like, at least doesn't look significant. I don't know if it really is, because I haven't really checked, but it feels insignificant. A lot of Briar's kit, like I said, feels underwhelming and insignificant. Especially the fucking lifesteal. Like, that shit on her ult, it's like, I can't even notice it. It doesn't even matter. In a team fight, they're all just going to turn on you and beat the shit out of you while you can't cancel it because you already used your E. Just imagine this, right? You go in, you ult. You have to E to get out of your ult. Oh, but the fight's continuing because you're single target for the most part. You W back in to be a champion again, and then you can't do anything because your E's on cooldown from using it the first time. Which, you know, it is what it is. Maybe they could give her resets on the E or the W. Maybe that could help. They have to do something significant. Unless they just keep buffing her numbers and make her a stat checker, which at that point they're going to nerf her eventually because it's going to be unfun and unskilled. Especially with her, because literally, you really can't do much. This champion sort of plays itself sometimes. So, if she's OP, you know, it's not going to be fair. But who knows what they're going to do. I've provided some solutions. Hopefully Riot will listen, even though I doubt it. But yeah, buff the W, maybe buff the ult, have a reset on the E or the W. The Q's honestly fine. The Q can stay how it is. Everything else needs to be buffed in some way, shape, or form. Mostly the W. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope everyone enjoyed. And if you guys want me to talk about anything or discuss something, please tell me in the comments below. And please watch my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Tecnics channel. Hope everyone enjoyed. I love Briar.